Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, broadcasting to you live, not on this one though, from emosocialclub.tv. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're here this evening with our new friend, CRLO. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Chicago, but not anymore, I guess.
No, so Chicago my entire life, and then a few months ago I shipped out west, and now I am working out of Denver, Colorado. Had to see some new sights, meet some new people, but girlfriend was living out here, kind of did the whole long distance thing for a little bit, and then she was the right alibi. It was the right time. I needed some I needed some new inspiration, and kind of musically with, Chicago is a city of culture, it's a city of artists, it's a city of a lot of ongoing moving parts. So kind of finding new inspiration in the new place was something that I was longing to do. I just didn't really know how to get there. Now working out of Denver, Colorado. But you said band, but yes, solo artist. So I'm a multi-instrumentalist, as well as an engineer and a producer. Welcome to the bedroom studio at the current moment. But it's just me. So Carlo, that's actually my middle name. That's where my alias comes from. But that is me, myself, I. And I have some friends who, kind of help me out here and there. But for the most part, it's all me, self-produced and all that.
We did have friend of the pod, Nina talking to us about you and and texting and emailing and all that. So Nina is
telling me in person, and I said, "Okay, let's go."
yeah, let's do it.
I hope she only told you guys good things.
She did, yeah.
She did.
It was funny
we were at Emporium Bar after Riot Fest, and she was like, "Hey."
Oh, she texted me. She's like, "Come to
Did
Emporium."
you get this email? And I said, "Yeah." We were trying to bully everybody to come to Emporium that night. It kind of half worked.
Yeah, I literally because I was living in Wicker Park at the time, so I mean it wasn't that far away. So I was was there. She almost got me.
this close to meeting you in person and not just over the internet. When she did send over, it's all good. When she did send over the promo photos, though, I was like, "Yeah, I know that skate park. I know that. I know that area."
Logan. Oh, I miss it. Yeah. For sure.
It's one of those like Chicago things where you're like, "Oh, I know where that is," and like you just see it and you're like immediately like.
That's feel like we had to do the promo. We had to do the music video there. I knew that I was moving out to Denver, and not to get into it too early, but like I wanted that to be a staple part. You watch my music video for it, and it's like that's Chicago. So
is that for sorry, go ahead, Lizzie.
I was about to say, like, you have like this is Chicago, this is my hometown, this is my stomping ground. But then you also had like this big discount for cutie energy, where it's like if you feel like a tourist in the city you were born in, it's time to go, and then you just like leave. And I'm like, that's like my first thought, but that's just me being me. But I find it really interesting that it's still like I still want to like pay homage to where I'm from, even though now I'm over here in a different state, just kind of absorbing everything.
Yeah, so I mean the music video concept, as I was writing treatments and trying to figure out, okay, how do I kind of present myself and kind of this rebrand that I'm going through as an artist right now. And it was like, before I leave this city that has created who I am as an artist, let me, put those staple things that, selfishly enough, when I watch it, it's going to kind of give me that home sentiment, it's going to make me feel like I'm walking down Milwaukee. It makes me feel like, I can go to Lakeshore Drive on my off days and go to the beaches or whatever, you know what I mean? So I think that it was a fun concept too, because it was so like we had drawn out, like, let's do a super simple kind of day in the life video and kind of shoot it through that perspective and not worry about post-production and all the effects and shit. Just let's do it straightforward. Let's just do it, how bands used to kind of do it, but it's just gonna be me, but it's good. I watch it reminds me of Chicago. I love Chicago, always will. But so
we always have this thing where everybody from Chicago, like if you want them to like you, all you have to do is be like, "Oh yeah, I love Chicago," and you're like, "All right, we're cool." And obviously, like, people from here obviously are very much like that. But, when we talk about pop punk kids leaving their hometown or like, I hate this town.
I did it, guys.
It's like, but
we finally got out.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that is kind of for smaller towns, I guess. Like, I mean,
for sure.
the one that we always think of is A Day to Remember from
Ocala.
Ocala, yeah. So it's like, okay, like I can kind of see why you would want to leave like a smaller town in Florida or a smaller city in Florida, move into a bigger space, or like just travel and go other locations. But Chicago seems like one of those places that is still like, I'm cool staying here, you know, like for most people, I think it's like, yeah, I'm cool being here. It's all right.
I 1,000% agree with that statement. Like, why leave Chicago? You know, it's got, I think it's got some of the best food. It's got some of the best music, the best entertainment that you can find in a big city like that. And like my family's from there. I wasn't born in Chicago. I was actually born in the Philippines and then adopted, came over to Chicago. But like, with that being said, I mean, that's still my home. So I feel that, like, why would you want to leave all of that and abandon that and go to, you know, ever since I've been in Denver, you know, you feel that difference, right? The city's a lot smaller. The pace is a lot slower. People, at least from what I've gathered, are a little bit more open-minded out here, right? But I don't know. I think also the reverse effect of wanting to leave and go to a place that is kind of like that. So I could find, I kind of have to force myself to find inspiration because I can't at every turn of the corner find that on the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's almost kind of the reverse effect of like, let me kind of isolate a little bit and not have all this noise fucking going on in my head to try and see what I can do. And since, you know, it's only been a few months, but since I've been able to step away from Chicago and the city, it's been, you know, it's been a lot of fun. I'm in a good place. I'm in a good spot. So thumbs up all around. Still love Chicago though.
Yeah. I've had some struggles with like, because I want to do more like videography and photography, and I watch all these YouTubers, and it interests me, but everybody I see is like, here's this idyllic mountain range, and I'm like, let me look outside. Oh fuck, it's just fucking nothing. Like there's nothing here. So I'm like, oh, let me go take pictures of these buildings, and I'm like, this is not inspirational to me at all. Like I'm not gonna take architecture photos or like, you know, sunsets in the city. It's like, no, it's kind of done. That's not really my interest. But like, yeah, it's like I need to move. I need to go somewhere like that. But I'm also
Chicago
like,
has its restrictions, right?
Yeah. I mean, you've got cities, you've got other cities, and you've got the tall buildings, and obviously like Chicago being large, you have a lot of different people in one space. You have a lot of different things you can do. But you also are like, it's a city. It's, you know, similar to New York. It's similar to Milwaukee. It's similar to St. Louis. Like,
well, I will say Milwaukee isn't as similar or that close at all to Chicago. When I went up there, I was like, damn, yikes.
Milwaukee's gotten better, but Milwaukee's gotten better, but it still wouldn't be my top 5 list of cities I'm dying to visit. You know,
I'm not throwing it up there. It's like, oh, a concert's coming through. I guess I'll drive the hour to go to that concert at the rave, but I'm not like,
right.
It's like
Eagles Ballroom. Here we come.
Yeah. Oh, let me look at apartments in the area. No, thank you.
No. That's suburban living right there.
So with your song Kiss the Concrete, obviously you said you want to have a lot of that Chicago influence in there, but where with your rebranding, like you had mentioned, where did you come up with this, like, kind of, I guess, newer music? Because I was listening to some of your other tracks, and you have some stuff that's more acoustic singer-songwriter, a little bit more like alt inspired, but then you also have stuff that's a little bit more rap centric, and we've seen that kind of merge together a lot more recently, obviously in the mainstream with, you know, either radio play or just artists coming out on SoundCloud. When was the big jumping point off for you to say, I need to switch it up?
I think it was kind of like the inception of my artistry. Like I knew, so I played in bands my entire life, and like you know, I went on tour, I did the whole band shit. And, you know, as I kind of started to get a little bit older, it's hard to get band practice together. We're fucking adults. We have jobs, you know, and like, not hating on anybody who's doing it right now, but like, cause I'm in that same position, but like, grinding an extra whatever hours I have a week to go play at a bar in front of maybe 12 people doesn't sound fun, you know, when I'm bending over backwards. But that's also part of the grind and part of being an artist, right?
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with that. But it was just easier for me where I was at the time to just say, you know what, fuck it. I just miss playing live. Let me just kind of do my own solo thing. There were a lot of artists that I was working with in Chicago who kind of gave me that little push and inspired me to say, let me start CRLO. You know, I'll brand myself as that, and I'll just write kind of a ton of songs that would allow me to at least have a set list to play live, right? And so that baseline music was all kind of R&B and kind of trap inspired. As an engineer, I worked with a lot of rappers in Chicago, a lot of kind of, I guess, hip hop artists, genre as a whole. So like that is also a very big part of my artistry. So the step away from that was, I don't know, I'd say within the last year, kind of realizing that as fun as this isn't really authentic to who I am as a person. You know, like I could rap about fucking bitches and getting money with all these traditional tattoos, and people like wouldn't get it. Like I'm brown to begin with, so it's kind of just a mind fuck of like, okay, what's kind of really going on here? And so, but same shit with pop punk though. You know, like I grew up in primarily like heavy, like metal, like rock, pop punk bands. Like that, like that's my background and my core, and kind of like what I know with playing with bands and shit. So within the last year, a light switch kind of flipped on where I was like, you know what, these are my roots. This is what I enjoy doing. So let me just kind of make this my image moving forward, because it's definitely a lot more in line with what I want to do as an artist, the music that I enjoy playing and writing. You know, like I'm gonna be a sappy pop punk emo kid at heart, like for forever.
It's not a phase.
So it's like, you know, I got that shit inked into my body. Like, why am I running away from that? And like, I don't want to give too much credit to, you know, MGK, but that whole movement, we all saw it, you know, that kind of like, oh shit, Ticket to My Downfall came out. You're a shit rapper, so, but you make great pop. Hand to God, it's not my favorite, but respect to you and your hustle. Glad you did a genre change up, because I think it's a lot more strategic, I would say. So kind of with that and just seeing that, okay, people are actually going back. I feel like I'm 27, so my kind of age demographic and kind of 5+ or minus, who kind of grew up with Fall Out Boy, who grew up with, you know, the purest form of pop punk and, you know, All Time Low, A Day to Remember, those bands that, you know, I would still go see today. That seeing those fans kind of reemerge and that music genre kind of get recycled, it's like, it's a no-brainer. It's kind of where I'm at, what I enjoy doing. So yeah, I'd say in a long-winded explanation, about within the last year, I kind of made that change up.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of like, I mean, we talk a lot about MGK just because it's so like of the time right now.
Like
Isn't it crazy though? Isn't it crazy?
We don't like MGK the artist. We love it.
Yes.
Tickets to My Downfall by MGK.
Yeah, we love Tickets to My Downfall.
Camera high five.
Yeah.
Let's go.
High five.
We care about Tickets to My Downfall. We don't. It's like MGK is the artist playing it. Okay.
That album was so
Riot Fest
good.
set? Yeah, of course.
That
we
album,
were.
like, I kind of get lost, like 7-8 tracks in, like World War II comes on, and I'm like, I can next album kind of. But like the front half of that album is so strongly composed and well produced, and just as a record, what it stands for, like, man, that's like full tens. I couldn't get it off repeat, and like, I wasn't the biggest fan of him rapping, and like, you know, everyone's got their own palette, but yeah, I didn't listen to MGK as a rapper, but as soon as he dropped that shit, I was all ears. So.
Once your friends start going like, dude, have you heard this new MGK pop punk song?
Like,
and it's like, why are you saying all of these words that don't go together to me? This isn't a sentence, man. But then you listen and you're like,
that doesn't go together is MGK covering Swing Life Away by Rise Against.
Yeah.
That also does not go.
Oh shit. Yeah, when he dropped that with
Kellen Quinn, yeah.
Yeah, the original one. I remember watching that video. It dropped in what, like 2012, 2013?
Yeah,
so like it wasn't that recently.
No, it's old, but he should have known better even then.
Yeah, I remember watching it and being really confused. I was like, I don't.
It's
same shit.
It's like, you know, I loved the rapping of Rise Against that you just covered in this. You know, Tim McIlrath really
Put
Tim
himself out there
McIlrath
like
sick
that.
rhymes, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
And he's got like the little kid with like the snapback singing vocal. And yeah, I didn't get it either. So
Guys, it's the American dream. Okay, listen.
Yeah. It's the really sad thing is like because of the beef and all that was happening a couple weeks ago, which, you know, fuck that. But all the beef people were like, you know, he actually did have like really big selling records. Like he was like top 5 on Billboard with one of them. On the hip hop charts, he was always really high. And so everybody's like, yeah, he like switches genres because he's not good. Yeah. It's like he was successful. Like, I don't like it. It's not for me, but like people were buying it. And I don't know if that same crowd followed him over. Like moving from the hip hop to rock, I don't know if that works, but I do feel like, and this is kind of leading into another question or another, get your thoughts on this, but it's like, because of artists like MGK, because of artists, especially artists who are not heterosexual straight white men, you know, like just the scene in general, as it has been, people who look different, people from different backgrounds, people bringing different ideas into it. I think that especially in rock music, the genre has kind of become more malleable, letting in more like electronic drums, letting in more individual artists rather than bands. We're not so worried about like, well, MGK is just one guy, or Panic at the Disco is now just one guy, and I will fight to my death that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I bet.
Doesn't matter. But there is this like change within the rock genre that's been kind of ongoing. So like being an independent name, you know, not having a full band as part of the writing process, having more people invited to do the writing in the studio, and then just like going on tour and having your group is like, that's more the norm now, it seems.
Specifically with, you know, the umbrella of pop punk, or you said rock? I
think rock in general. I do think like right now it's more focused on pop punk. I do think there's like the contingency of butt rock that's always going to be really big. Contingency of butt rock is my other band name.
Side note, I love butt rock.
It's real fun, man. It's real fun.
I hate butt rock, but like if I had like Creed, like fucking Nickelback, and like Five Finger Death Punch on the same bill, I'd go to that show. If it was free. I wouldn't pay for it, but I'd go. Fuck it.
When Five Finger Death Punch was at the MTV Music Awards this past year, I was stunned. I immediately texted Brian. I said, "Yo,
I thought they broke up.
Guess who's here with MGK?" I don't understand. But there's playing like, you know, Rock on the Range and other big festivals like that. Also, I was unaware that 3 Days Grace was technically butt rock up until this year because I just thought it was emo.
No.
3 Days Grace is fantastic, though.
I mean, like, when you listen to everything, I'm like, wow, that really hits me. And somebody alerted me that it's not. And I've been in, like, a disarray state.
Yeah.
It's 3-piece Breaking Benjamin.
Oh, God. Breaking Benjamin's another one of those bands where it's like, you can't hate it. I remember when I got Saturate in, like, 6th or 7th grade, and I was like, holy fuck, this album slaps.
It's so good.
And then you get older, and everyone starts to hate them, and, you know, it is what it is. I've always stood true. I've always said, I don't care. Whatever you like to listen to, whether it's, you know, this or that, you like what you like.
Yep.
You know, so.
Oh, look. I'm on board with that. Knowing that like that is like the biggest form of rock music, and pop punk has always been sort of like the underground, or it's been you know, oh, I don't like that, and I don't like when I was growing up, it was like I don't like this like mainstream rock, I don't like hip hop, I don't like pop, it's all too popular, it's too mainstream. All I like is like this stuff is underground, it's kids that are making 100%. It in basements and playing at the local venues, and like it's that scene in that community. I feel like that is kind of changing, where people are like, no, I just like music. I like all kinds of stuff. And even if I'm like playing in a basement, I still want to have like trap drums in my music.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. I think that the landscape of music is always going to change. It's going to evolve. There'll be things and genres that recycle after a certain amount of time. But it's like, you know, with pop punk kind of being like the forefront, and what I see kind of piggybacking off of what you said is kind of like the main forefront, but it used to kind of be underground and something that, you know, kids would relate to rebel against their parents or how they were feeling, or the, you know, the simplest shit. I always think of Simple Plan, you know, like just you listen to a Simple Plan song, it's like, I fucking feel you, man. Like I get that 1,000%.
Welcome to my life. Welcome to all of our lives.
Life, you know, like that's how I felt. But yeah, I don't know. It's malleable. It's changing. There's so many cool things happening in music right now where I think the traditional line of what the boundaries used to be to dictate what makes a band are so, again, malleable. It's a great word to describe it, because as an artist, you know, I'm very fortunate enough to have made connections through playing with bands where I can kind of handpick who I would choose in my live band, also with people that I've met on the way up. But like, you know, I don't think I necessarily have to include that part, because I think that with my artistry and the way that I'm doing it right now and where I want to go, like I can do all my pre-pro like here in my studio, right? And then if I want to, it's like hit up one of my guitarists or bring in a songwriter and say, you know, what do you think of this? You know, I always like to have a second, third, fourth pair of ears, eyes, whatever on my like all the products that I put out, because it's important to me as an artist to get that feedback with my own kind of, how do I want to put this, kind of my own flair in mind, you know. Like I've always been up for collaborating with other people, but I think being a solo artist in this day and age and where music's going, like I think it's great. I love it. I think it's works better for me and what I'm doing out here with everything that's kind of going on, and also with COVID and this pandemic. I couldn't imagine trying to be in like a 5-piece band.
Yeah,
like, fuck that. Like getting that together. Like I'm actually very blessed, hallelujah, that I'm a solo artist right now, because I don't need other people. It was the reliability that was super nice once I stepped away from playing in bands, where it was like I don't have to worry about someone sleeping in till 3 a.m. or 3 p.m., you know, on the weekends when we're supposed to be rehearsing. So yeah, I don't know. It's great. It's awesome. But I do miss playing in that setting. So it's kind of like I love it, but I also kind of hate it. I miss being in a loud room and,
sure,
you know, wheeling up my half stack into the band van and, you know, all that shit. So
you're describing all the shit that I hated. I also
hated
am
loading, unloading, sound, like all of that shit.
Yeah. I also am literally that guy right now who I had to tell my band that I can't practice tomorrow night because I thought I was leaving on Thursday, but I'm actually leaving tomorrow.
And then Brian, someone goes out of town, and then I go up a wall.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like, sorry guys, can't meet tomorrow. Do something without me. Bye.
I mean, you do like a Zoom, right? Band practice on Zoom and shit.
I have no faith in any of them figuring that out or doing it in a good way. They said that like for a while there, they were able to do through FaceTime. They were doing like guitar, like just strings practice. So they'd have the guitars playing that way. And they were like, yeah, that actually works pretty well. And I'm like, cool. That'll be all you do then. Just have that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man,
I'll meet up with you once a month and like sing, because like we're an emo pop punk cover band. Like I know this shit. You don't need me.
That's hard as fuck.
Yeah, you don't need me. I'll just show up, man. Oh, this is a Panic at the Disco. All right, cool. I got it. 1, 2, 3. And go. Right. You know, and I don't have to lift shit.
Well, that's
you don't
fun.
have to play Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Dude, yeah. Thank God I don't have to lift or play Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Why, you don't like Red Hot Chili Peppers?
So here
you group in with butt rock?
No, the thing is, like,
God.
I do not hate Red Hot Chili Peppers. There are a lot of songs by Red Hot Chili Peppers I like, I have liked, I respect, I can listen to. I think that I've just been doing it for so long that I'm just like, dude, fuck this. Like, this is like fuck all of this. Fuck Anthony Kiedis' just random words. Fuck this like ridiculous bass line.
Let's go from there. What do you play? What's your instrument?
I just sing. I only sing.
Oh, okay, you sing.
Yeah. So, and then I'm like, I'm like, We did.
It's not a bassist. All fucking.
Oh yeah,
parts.
well, they're the ones who want to play it. Like that's my issue. Is the only people who want to play Red Hot Chili Peppers are the ones who want to play the riffs and the drum beats and all that. They're fine with it. Meanwhile, I'm like, dude, Anthony Kiedis is not fun to replicate. It's just not fun for me at all. So
you could have really just said literally anything, and we would have accepted it.
I did. The last show we did,
No,
I forgot all the words.
You didn't remember.
And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Forgot the words, but it's Red Hot Chili Peppers, and you can.
And nobody knows
Made them
it.
up. Yeah. Made them up.
My friend who came with me, she was like, "Yo, does Brian know the words?" And I said, "Do you know the words to Red Hot Chili Peppers?" She's like, "No, not really." But I just want to know if he did. I said, "I said no."
Yeah.
Hey, if you sounded good and people had fun, that's all that matters, right?
We were the first band of a day on a 90s cover band show day at this like suburb venue. We started playing at like noon. So like no one was really there. I'm like, whatever.
Was it an all-day fest?
Yeah, it was all day.
I don't miss that about the scene.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you guys ever went to Royals. Skate shop. It was in Lansing.
Down in Tinley? No.
Yeah, it was in Lansing, but like we played a couple fests, and like I'm all here for the DIY scene. I grew up in the DIY scene, but when you have a fest that starts at like 11 and goes till like 10 of all local bands, no one will be there.
No.
Like, it's unless you're booking people with like a heavy following. And I played a couple of them, and I'm like, I've gone through how many packs of cigarettes while I've been waiting to play? Like, oh my God.
It's the
Or if
worst.
you're that early in the day, they're like, "Oh, now you have to stay for everybody," and you're like, "That's silly.
Stay for the other bands."
Yeah.
I'm just like, how much time do you think I got?
I played at noon. I'm leaving. I'm out. I do not want to be here.
I'm going to take a nap. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and unless you have like homies on the bill, you're fucked.
You're fucked. Oh, it's the worst. When I was doing that, I was singing Red Hot Chili Peppers, and it was just because no one was there, and I was just so tired of Red Hot Chili Peppers. My brain was like, hey, what if you just didn't know any of this anymore? Like, what if I just completely shut off and you had no recollection of Red Hot Chili Peppers right now? And I was like, I actually prefer this. I actually like this place. Yeah. I just wish it wasn't happening when I'm on stage. But I'm also going to say, hey, everybody, there's too many words in this song. I'm out. You guys have a good time.
You could do an Anthony Kiedis like circa 1985 where he's just coked out on stage and just dance around. And guess what? That flies. That's
what I did.
Chili Peppers, so.
What I did at noon in the suburbs.
Good for you, Brian.
Improvising.
That was the worst.
So one of the last shows that you played prior to COVID was actually with our friend Tyler of Crooked Teeth.
Oh my God, so long ago.
Yeah.
It hurts. It hurts to hear. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, it's what day on what year I played when? Yeah, it's been a long time, but that was the last show I played pre-COVID. Sub T downstairs with Crooked Teeth. He's a homie for sure. Tyson's a homie. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think I drank too much whiskey at Big Star before.
That'll happen.
But I'm also a performer. When I drink, I throw a couple back before you go on stage, loosen up, and Brian as a vocalist, man, when got a couple in you, you rock and roll.
Yeah, you just feel it, and you're like, oh, maybe that third one wasn't the right choice.
Oh no.
Maybe no wonder why I can't remember the lyrics to this Red Hot Chili Pepper song.
At noon, isn't that
dude? I had a drink just to sing it, just to sing it. Yeah, it actually was at Subterranean one time when I played a show and was like, oh yeah, that same idea of like playing in like a 5-band bill, right? Like I'm playing fourth, and I had 3 other bands to drink through. So I've been here since 6 p.m. The bar opened at 7. I'm drinking throughout the 3 other bands. Oh, right. I'm here to play a show. Yep. Fantastic.
Yep. But it's fun. That's part of the challenge. I think I played. I think I was the. Did I open that show? No, I think I was the second or third performer. I think there was only like 4 people on that bill, and I played like second or third. But I remember that show being super, super fun, just because it like not knowing that I was the local band that was like in between us was like a straight pop punk band. I remember they covered a Fall Out Boy song, and then
yeah.
Crooked Teeth, he went on and he was playing. It was him, a bassist, and a drummer. And it was like all pop punk shit. And like, meanwhile, I'm like in between the two of them. And obviously, like, that's not very cohesive. But I remember being like, yo, well, this is dope because I hadn't played with like a full band, like a full pop punk band on the same bill for a minute. So to like hear that again, so to kind of answer your question, like that show might have been what kind of inspired that transformation to start. But yeah, that show was that was sick. That was a really fun time. I'm mad at Tyson. I told him I had weed and a blunt rolled up for him after, and he did not pull through the crib. So Tyson, you owe me a smoke session, motherfucker.
Tyson, when you hear this,
there's fighting words.
I'm calling you out. I'm gonna have Nina text you because I think
shit.
She hit my line like a couple months ago. She's like, "Would you ever be interested in like writing with Tyson?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." And then I didn't hear anything of it. So Tyson, you owe me a songwriting session and a weed session.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get really high and make some beautiful music.
We're getting it done. Can you? How do I want to ask this question? I love Sub T, and I've heard a little bit of slander lately, and I'm like, I just want to have a moment where we like just a little bit of like, you know, I think people forget it's a punk rock venue. It's a space for like, you know, it's the last one in Wicker Park. It's small. It's good for like those up and coming bands. You know, sometimes you'll have a show on a Tuesday and it's like, yeah, just come through on a Tuesday and see like 4 bands play. Or you'll have like random little shit going on. Like I did see an air guitar championship there one time. Fantastic. Just
upstairs or downstairs?
That was upstairs. That was upstairs.
It was upstairs, and they were having an air guitar.
It was the championship.
That sounds awesome.
Where the fuck was that?
It was a Thursday night. It was packed, and it was a great time. Just an absolute blast.
Hey guys, this is so unprofessional of me, but I need to go step away for a hot second. I have some family thing that's going on right now.
I swear to you.
Fine, but I just need to keep talking.
I swear
I'll
to you.
be back.
I'm gonna time you.
Yeah, I've got a timer. I'm taking like a little bit of notes on my end here, just to make sure I got these cuts. Yeah, I don't think people are fully aware that it's supposed to be a punk venue. Like they go there and they like, there's this expectation now of like Bottom Lounge or of trying to think of like House of Blues. You know, you're going to this like more upscale, larger, more, I don't want to say professional, because I do think the Sub T, like I've dealt with nothing but professionalism there. And so it's like, yeah, I just think it's, you know, maybe it's a little bit less pristine. It's a little bit less like upscale.
People are talking about it being not like as nice.
Yeah, yeah. Or like expecting things. Yeah.
Have you not been there? There's stickers everywhere. It's a fucking punk venue. You get a PBR for like $4.
Yep.
Like, God, what changed since I left Chicago?
I think it's just like, because there are less venues, and especially like post COVID, like with where venues are at, with how, you know, many have closed, and venues being, I think, just a little bit more like what's the word? It's like they're harmed by the pandemic, and so we treat them like, oh, we need to keep them alive, we need to keep them open. But I think that maybe there's like another side of that where people are like, yeah, we're keeping you open, but like you could at least improve or be better or like do something at this level.
There is a bit more limited amount of venues that acts can book at.
Yeah. And I think,
so
but I think like
Sub T booking like different like genres outside of what I think you and I would see as a usual act at Sub T.
I think they're booking the same types of stuff. Like they had Goody Grace there recently. I think tomorrow that's who's going to play there. We're recording this on a Tuesday, so he's playing on like the Wednesday. So if you're listening to this, you missed it. But yeah, it's like Goody Grace, and I saw Poppy there for her first tour. So it's like a lot of like, you know, bigger name acts or acts that are like getting attention on them. kind of playing their like first small stage, I guess, first small stage in Chicago. It's also just Wicker Park is just a really easy place to get to. It's right off the blue line. So if you're coming from the suburbs, if you're, coming from the loop, like you're able to get there really easily. It's just so convenient. But I do think that there's like that expectation now that you're like, well, I'm going to a venue. It should be like a nice venue. And it's like, nope, it's a punk venue. You're going to have a punk rock time. Like you're going to get sweaty. You're going to be crowded around people. You're going to, be close to everybody and going to get gross. You're going to drink shitty beer. You're going to have shitty cocktails and like, you're going to have a great fucking time.
That way. I honestly think that Sub T has had its longevity and kind of its reputation because it is so kind of what you see is what you fucking get, man.
Yeah.
Like so many classic acts have gone through that venue. I think that this like Subterranean to me is such a staple Chicago venue because of its history, because of its nature. And if there are people who are going to Sub T now and saying the things that you're saying about the venue, that's fine. You're in Chicago. Fucking go somewhere else.
Go
Sub
to
T's
Bottom
not
Lounge.
going to change. Yeah, go to Bottom Lounge if you got a problem. Like, going back to the beginning of this, Chicago has so many different avenues. And, if you don't like something, just go a half mile down the road. I'm sure you'll find what you want.
B Kitchen's not that far, You got other opportunities. It's very, I don't know. I don't know if it's just like pretension or what. Like I don't know what's going on, but it does seem like you're going into like pop punk and having pop punk stuff now, and then being like, come to this pop punk venue. Is like the people who are like, I really like MGK. Wait, why am I in this like shitty venue?
I mean, with that comparison, I think it's because it's probably falling on new ears and ears that are used to going to House of Blues, the demographic of, because it's that shift, right? Like we talked about earlier, that shift of it's attracting new fans that might be seen as mainstream, might be seen as a little bit more normal, call them what you want. I hate that word.
I get you,
but
though.
like the normies, the normies are kind of catching on, and I feel like with the types of bands that attract that kind of newer crowd going to a venue like that, like I would hope that it wouldn't be culture shock, because to me that's just you're sheltered. You need to go to a punk venue, take a $3 shot of whiskey and drink a shitty beer,
you do,
and like see a local band. Like that is the part of the city that is important, and we need to preserve that, so it's good for the venue because I think that kind of solidifies its uniqueness and its history. And I think those people are also exposed to what I think all three of us are normalized to, right? And so for us, it's like, I'm just going to another show at Sub T, it is what it is.
I feel like it's so like egregious for somebody to keep complaining about it and then still go to those like events too. And it's like, okay, you have the free will to not come here. Like we go
literally
to venues,
just said that. We're just like, just go somewhere else.
Go another place.
Fucking leave.
Like I go to venues I absolutely hate, but you know what? If it's a band or artist I really enjoy, I'll just deal with it.
Yeah, you go there
and
for
then
the music.
move on from there.
Right.
But I think it's also similarly like when I started to go back to shows and like when I saw All Time Low, both at their Bottom Lounge Lala show and at Lala, there were so many people there that are like, this is a TikTok band. And when the crowd tried to get more like rowdy and amped up, people were like freaking out because they weren't exposed to it because they're a bunch of people who don't traditionally listen to like All Time Low. And I realized that too because I was in the pit pretty close for MGK at Riot Fest. And there was a girl, she's like, I'm sorry that I'm pushing you. And I said, I've been in so many pits. Why are you apologizing? And she looked at me like with fear in her eyes. And I'm like, girl, where have you been? I will hit you. What are you talking about right now? I'm going to be sorry, but I'm not going to say it. Do you know where you are?
All right, cut that all, Brian. Make the note. If you come to a CRLO show, I want you to mosh. I want you to crowd surf.
Yep.
I want you to take your fucking Vans skate highs, wrap them around your throat, and jump off the fucking monitor. In front. Like, I don't give a shit. If you come to a CRLO show, you're there to have fun. Like, you might get kicked in the face, but that's the nature of the music.
Be that way
Kicked in the face so many shows.
Pick up your friends when they fall down.
It builds character.
Don't be an asshole, but like. Yeah, that's nutty to me. That's like you're going to a rock show. Like you realize that, going to a rock show in 2021 versus like just 5-10 years ago, like it got fucking soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's soft.
when I was watching 303 at Riot Fest, granted, I know they're so early in the day, but me being a 303 enthusiast,
hell yeah.
and when they played Punk Bitch, which is my favorite 303 song, I lost it, and I asked a nice tall guy, I said, "Can you please crowd surf me?" He said, "We shouldn't be doing that here," and I told him to go fuck himself. Because I was like, do you know where you are?
Say it how it is. Say it how it is.
I am all about inclusivity, but if you don't want to come into our area and space and like not like assimilate, but just be aware and like indulge yourself in like this like rock ideology and like culture, then you're ruining it for everybody else. And I literally do not want you there. And I'm going to be your worst nightmare.
Yeah, 1,000%. And it's like, if you don't, that with bigger festivals like that, like I can understand how, for some people it might be, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to going to these types of shows. Like maybe I ended up at a stage watching a band that like I'm enjoying, but I don't understand the culture and the crowd that I'm in. Right. And so it's almost kind of, I feel, since all three of us are on the same page here, it's almost kind of on our shoulders to educate those people who don't really get to. And that's something as an artist that I've always done. It's like, if you want to push, you want to mosh, you want to shove, crowd surf, whatever, like have fun, but realize like this will be happening. If you don't feel comfortable, you're more than welcome to go side stage where you'll enjoy a performance more rather than having to worry about getting belted in the fucking mouth. You know what I mean? Like you don't just go to a Knocked Loose show and expect to be like, oh yeah, like this is calming, like relaxing. You know what I mean?
Fun
like,
time at the Knocked Loose show.
You expect to go to a Knocked Loose show with the anticipation that you are going to break some part of your body.
Even bloody.
I got Dennis on fucking speed dial after the show. Like, hey, I got 3 crowns that need to get put in because I went into the pit during fucking Oblivion's Peak, bro. Like, yeah. But I understand what you're saying. Like, when you're in that crowd and just kind of, they're not used to the shoving, they're not used to the moshing, like, at least they're kind of being kind about it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I've always said that, if I go up or, I kick someone in the face while I'm going up or stage diving, like, I'm so sorry, I did not mean to hit you, but this is gonna fucking happen. Like, you can't really stop the stage dive.
I take off my glasses at a certain time whenever I'm in a pit because I'm like, I'm gonna hurt myself and I cannot break my glasses because I cannot see. And then nobody's gonna have a good time.
Everyone's having a bad
I went
time.
mainly with Brian. I would be like, Brian, guide me everywhere. I can't see.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like, I remember growing up and going to Warped Tour, and it's like, I would like always specifically take out my plugs because I knew as soon as I got into that hot, sweaty 120-degree pit, these brand new $50 plugs I just bought before this set, they will be gone. So it's kind of the experience of knowing what you're getting yourself into. So again, educate those people, help them kind of understand that when you go to Sub T and you expect it to be this nicer, uppity venue, you're not going to get that. If you do go in the pit, you know what you're kind of risking. But as an artist myself, that's where I kind of also want to be. Like, hey, we're bringing this back. We're maintaining this energy. We're going to keep this a part of rock music, of the scene, because a big MO of mine that I want to push forward with my music as well is that, we live in such, not to get on a philosophical rant or anything like that.
Hey, go for
it. We're a society that is fueled by immediate gratification. We're a society that has to adapt to all of these new changing societal norms and adaptations, all the changing different cogs that we're dealing with, it's something that we need to be cognizant of, but not stray away from, what's fact. And you know, with my music, it's like I want to push forward that image of, you know, love, acceptance. You know, like I want all the positive things that come with my music and going to see live music, but at the same time, kind of keeping that punk attitude, keeping that energy, you know, where you are expected to mosh when you come to my show. You're expected to do all of those things that if you open up a history book, you see it in pictures, you see it ingrained in live videos of bands, you know, from the inception of whatever you want to call punk music, but kind of keeping that alive and keeping that, you know, as this our scene kind of progresses into the mainstream, again, sprinkling in that education to be like, okay, this is merging, but these are the things that you expect if you're going to make that merge, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like the blonde white girl Stephanie who's at MGK and I'm fucking throwing bows during Forget Me Too. It's like, I'm not really gonna, like, I feel bad if I clock you in the nose, but like, again, this is punk. Welcome.
I
to
literally
my
tried to
world, right?
I tried to start a mini pit during Forget Me Too, and like absolutely nobody
Girl,
except
I would have
our
been
friends
there
that I
with
was
you. I would
with
have been
were
there
like
with you.
into it. They're like, stop throwing yourself. I'm like, aren't you having a good time to this extent?
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, they gotta learn. I was listening to a podcast recently about a girl who grew up in the area where Blink-182 is from. And when they started their like fashion of like, you know, the shorts and the Dickies and all that kind of shit, that was like just the fashion that they were all doing in that area. And then when they got popular, everybody started copying that. And she very ironically said, my culture is not your costume. And I'm like thinking that the same way of like, dude, you're like, oh, it's kind of like the Avril Lavigne issue of like, all these girls or kids who like really liked Avril Lavigne, but more because of the pop end of things, and then end up like coming to shows that are like not Avril Lavigne's show, or like go to an MGK show and like the punk kids like it, and all of a sudden they're trying to do the same things. It's like, no, this is like the culture though. This is what it is. And it's not just like you can show up and not be a part of it. Like you have to understand, like in any other way, like this is the culture of this. If we went to a fucking like
pop show,
yeah, well, honestly, I'd probably try to start a pit there too. Like,
yeah, I mean, when I saw Kim Petras at Lincoln Hall, I was like,
Oh
"Ooh, what do I do?"
goodness.
I was like, fight or flight, and so like I started throwing arms, and my friend's like, "Lizzie, you can't do that." I'm like, "I know, but I don't. What do I do?"
Yeah.
Like EDM shows, there are pits. I mean, I've mostly just done like, you know, the jumping up and down with your hand in the air, which is like pretty common. I fucking love EDM shows. Like they're just a bunch of lights and people acting really weird. It's great.
Side note with EDM, so moving out to Denver, it being the bass capital of the world, I didn't know that EDM was still a thing because to my knowledge, being an artist from Chicago, EDM was kind of dead unless you're like a 17-year-old kid from Naperville.
Yeah.
And I saw
like
Zed's dad. Yeah.
I wasn't into it. I have friends.
But like,
17
I saw
Naperville.
Zed's dad at Aragon Ballroom a couple of years ago, and my ass left with the group that I came with because, like, I mean, they were my age, a little bit older, but like, we were in the pit and like everyone's doing the fucking barricade, fucking swing, womp womp womp, and shit. But I looked around and I was like, all these kids are like 16, 17. I just feel really out of my element. Maybe I took too much Molly, but like this is not the vibe I'm used to. Like, because I love EDM. I respect all, if not most, genres. And yeah, it's just with EDM, there is a giant. It's very well and alive out in Denver still. Everyone's still very heady. There's a lot of actually the first show that I went to when I came out here was Manic Focus at Mission Ballroom, and he's like an EDM kind of like groovier, like within the realm of like Grizz Grammatic type shit. But yeah, the first show I went to as soon as I moved out here was an EDM show, and I'm like, this is still a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, we're here.
I'm assuming it's older people then, at least.
The scene is sick. It's not what the scene was at Aragon Ballroom the night I went. It's very everyone like because the drug scene out here is like, you know, it's a lot friendlier. People know what they're getting. You know, like the heavy population of Chicago. You don't have to worry about, you know, like who you're buying off of.
Sure.
Like, side note, kids, drugs out in Denver, they're great.
Oh my god.
Yeah, sick. But yeah, it's a dope scene out here. It's not the same EDM scene. I was just very, very much in shock when I first moved out here and realized that it was still very prevalent. And then I came home for my birthday. I went to Riot Fest and everything. My chakras realigned. We were back to normal.
Chakras real. I've been getting a lot of weird like EDM rave TikTok on our like emo social club TikTok account, and I'm like, what do I do with this? Because I have the same like predisposition about EDM out here too. Still, like I listen to trance and house music, and I like techno.
I love house music,
but like I listen to it to like calm down and to like go to sleep because it's very soothing to me. As chaotic as that sounds,
you listen to house and trance music to go to sleep.
Absolutely, I do.
You are one of a kind, Lizzie. I can't relate. I cannot relate.
But I'm always like, there's some artists that I really like coming through, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to go, but I'm like, is it just going to be a bunch of kids, and are people just going to be on like copious amounts of drugs, and I'm going to be sitting there like, yeah.
But at the end of the day, guess what? If you want to go experience that show, fuck it, buy a ticket, go to the show, go for the music, right? That's why I think we all love music. We like going to see. Fuck what the crowd is. Just go see the music.
Yep. You can vibe with it. It's good. I mean,
I've been to shows where I'm literally the single idiot on the dance floor that everyone at the bar is probably like, what the fuck did that do?
Yep.
And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm there for a good time. I'm there to see the performance. I'm there for the artist. If I vibe and dance along and look like a moron, I am a moron. Judge me. Like, I'm going to go and have some fun. So
you need that one person that's on the dance floor to get everybody else onto the dance floor. And if it's not going to be me, it never is me. I'm not confident enough to
Brian
do that.
To get him.
You need to play the good shit. I was at a wedding over the weekend and they played like a bunch of the old people and the kids music, like all the family music. They played that at the beginning, more of like the 60s, 70s, some classics. 80s stuff, the wedding classics.
The wedding classics.
Around 9 p.m., it just ticked a different switch, and all of a sudden it's all pop punk, Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit, a bunch of EDM, some like, it's like everything. And all the family left, a bunch of the olds left.
The olds.
Everyone's like in their 20s and 30s, and we are going the fuck off.
That sounds like a wonderful night, and I hope you enjoyed that experience. That's
moshing at a wedding in suits to Break Stuff is like, I think it's every wedding from now on. I don't think that there's a different type of wedding you can have.
I've dreamed of having, and my girlfriend and I have talked about just having a rock and roll wedding, like it doesn't, why do I have to play the YMCA and like don't want to miss a thing by Aerosmith at a wedding? Like those, let's just have a rock and roll wedding.
That isn't our shit, right? That's not for us.
It's beyond us.
I want my first dance with my mother to be like Dance Dance by Fall Out.
Oh my God.
Like, that would be so sick. I would love that.
Like, Mom, I need you to learn the Pete Wentz dance at the end of this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Otherwise, we're going to have a problem. You're going to embarrass yourself. And I can't let you do that at my wedding.
I'm going to walk down the aisle with the deer horns from Sugar Ray Down.
Yes.
It's going to be an Uno reverse. Instead of your girlfriend or wife to be having the flower crown with the antlers, it's actually you.
I'm so down. Like, that's push the boundaries. Fuck it up, dude. I'm just saying,
like,
I'm always here for it.
It's for you. It's not for everybody else. It's like when you look back at these pictures, when you're old and you have kids or you're showing them off, like, what are you going to be excited about? It's like, yeah, I really liked Fall Out Boy, and like our wedding was Fall Out Boy themed, and it was fucking legit.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Dude, I can, and I want to.
Would you sit at the Mania table? You would sit at the
No, fuck that shit. My girlfriend wouldn't be down for any of this. And I'm like, well, whatever, we'll see what happens when we start planning stuff. And I just slip, some extra cash to the planner and go,
be strategic.
Yo, like, what if there were antlers though?
I'm waiting.
You need to cut this out of the interview so she doesn't see it.
I'm just editing it out.
There you go. I'm really surprised that there's like not like some like emo pop punk like wedding planner that it's come to fruition yet.
Right.
I am in like all of the networking groups for like
hey babe,
everything. hey guys, do you want to start a real wild thing when none of us are engaged at all?
That's a great business strategy, though.
Hire
Again,
us.
like our demographic, we're getting older, and that I don't think we realize that we have control of the mainstream.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck do I have to listen to NBA YoungBoy when I can't understand a goddamn thing that he's saying? When I get we control kind of what will be passed down, and I'm gonna fucking play All Time Lows EP for my child and get
Hell
them.
yeah, let's
I have my vinyl player. Like, you bet your ass I'm gonna plop Homesick down on that bitch right before we go to sleep. Like, I made a wax layer. That's your goodnight song. I got you. Like that's what I'm stoked for, is kind of carrying on and implementing what we know and love. And I think that the biggest part of where music's at nowadays too is that big nostalgia factor, right?
Yeah.
Like, we love it because it's nostalgic, because it sounds kind of familiar and takes us back to that specific time and place. So yeah, I'm stoked. You could have some pop punk weddings.
I think it's legit, like
It's
good
a good
business plan.
idea. It is the most niche business idea, but if you learn anything from any business 101 class, is to find something that is so heart-wrenchingly niche, and you will grow it to a significant amount of people.
If you find that wedding planner, please email me.
Actually, it's going to become us. It's going to become us.
Emo
Smart.
social wedding planners. You got us.
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, you got to run with that.
Yeah.
I fully endorse it, and we'll book out ASAP once
There
the
we
business
go.
outline has been created.
See, we're a multimedia empire, which includes event booking.
Entertainment 720.
God, I hate us.
Oh man, but okay, who's Aziz?
Oh, I'm definitely
Who gets to
John
be Aziz?
Ralphio. My
Yeah.
hair, being tall, loud, calling
You're
people
not that loud.
J shot, Dillo shot,
Oh my God.
lost with cash.
Hey, okay. Speaking of trending topics, have you guys watched Squid Game?
Yes.
Have watched Squid Game. Yes.
God damn it, I'm so far behind.
Everyone's about to have spoiler alerts.
I know.
Potentially.
Well, after the whole Instagram meltdown yesterday, I
Yeah.
got back on today, and I'm scrolling through my feed, and of course, there's X, Y, and Z of these new memes of Squid Game. And like, I tried 3 nights ago. I was cooking dinner, and I'm sitting on the couch with my girlfriend. I'm like, we need to start Squid Game, because everyone at work we're talking about it. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is, or like, what is this little orange disc shit? Like, and so I was cooking dinner. We started watching it, and then I was like, I saw Parasite. I know where this could potentially go. Maybe let's wait after. And then we ended up falling asleep. So that's high on my to-do list. But
you got to do it.
I will
Real
watch
big
Squid
plot
Game.
twist coming for you.
Yeah.
It's just one season, yeah?
Yeah, it's just that. I think it's just like that one. They leave it where maybe, but probably not. It would be ruined if they did, in my opinion. But it leaves it open.
They will. There's no.
It's
Yeah.
the biggest Netflix show of all time.
It's a similar like cliffhanger to like if you watch HBO's Watchmen, how they left that off at the end. It's like, okay.
I did not see Watchmen.
All right, you got two things on your list.
You two do not get me started. I'm the worst at watching TV shows.
Oh,
and
trust me,
watching
I am
movies.
too.
I don't.
Squid
I just
Game is,
watched.
like,
My
the
girlfriend
first
just
thing.
made me watch Little Mermaid for the first time.
Oh
Wait,
my
what?
god!
Like, bro,
What?
like I'm dead ass.
Excuse
Like,
me?
I had never seen Cinderella, Snow White. Like, I don't watch movies. Like, y'all.
You
like,
never.
It's fair.
Your parents ever just plopped them on as a child
Yeah.
and said, "Here's some wholesome Disney content."
I guess not.
You ever play Kingdom Hearts to like just know like
No,
sort of the
never played
backstory?
Kingdom Hearts. Not a lot of friends that did. Growing up, I was into playing guitar and practicing guitar, and we were never a big movie or TV show family, and so like my parents worked a bunch. I have an older sister, but she was always away at school. So, lo and behold, here's little angsty Carlo in the basement trying to learn Master of Puppets on guitar, looking at a tab and shit,
God.
And so I never really, until I got to college and it was made apparent to me that I need to be a lot more cultured in media. That's when I started, watching movies and TV and shit. But my upbringing, not a very prevalent part. So I will play catch up ASAP.
One of the biggest pieces of advice, because I also don't have a lot of time to watch anything, like watching Squid Game was a very rare occurrence for me to watch a whole anything, is to just research the basics of it. And then you can get away with anything in conversation because like this is the basic plot. this is whoever's
I
in
feel
it.
so
This is the
wrong,
context
though.
around it. But you can get through, and you can think people think you know what's going on, but you don't.
I mean, Spark Notes got me through college. It
See,
got
it's
me
the
a
same
degree.
thing.
So
Same
if I can
thing.
read a Wikipedia plot, that's not Lizzie. Thank you for your advice.
I watch so much shit, period. I also watch way too much stuff on like YouTube analyzing the shit that I watch. If I could tell you how many minutes I've wasted on
explained videos.
YouTube theories about Marvel movies and TV
no.
shows.
I have watched so many of those, bro. I feel you 1,000%.
See?
Yep.
But what I love about them is the way that they like kind of explain storytelling, and like you see like, especially as a songwriter, I'm sure you can relate. And as like, you know, we write scripts for YouTube videos, we write scripts for podcasts or whatever we're doing. It's like, you need to know how to tell a story that like impacts somebody. And it's insane how you can like then identify it when you're watching something, and like you can really like Squid Game is a really good opportunity to dive deep and go like, I'm seeing so much here about like character development, where like why I'm supposed to like this guy who I'm kind of hating, like why I'm starting to hate this guy that I'm supposed to like side with, all these kind of things, and like the character development and the way it builds. It's like, I love this shit. And like, if it's not for those YouTube series, if it's not for all that, it's like I wouldn't be able to appreciate this show about children's games and murder.
And yeah,
gives you that depth that you don't have, and kind of gives you a little bit more
it's
about
big
the
like
storytelling.
it's big like high school film 101
True.
when you look back at it, or like if you ever took like a screenwriting class, or like just any type of like media, like cultural criticism class, because they'll like break it down like that. I'm like, why am I doing a film analysis? I'm not a film bro. And it's like, no,
right.
I get it now.
Everything. It's in everything.
Those YouTube holes they can get pretty dark and deep, man.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
dangerous.
I love
Yeah,
it.
that's how you get into weird conspiracy theories. Then you're gonna be like, wait a second, I have to stop.
Absolutely. See, I don't watch a lot of TV or movies, but a YouTube hole, I mean, that's like a vortex.
Out.
We'll get spiraled down quick.
Before we get too into it, I am amazed that this was an hour already. Like, this was such a quick and easy conversation. So somehow we made it to an hour.
That was very fast, I guess. So.
Holy shit. Like, how
I like both of you guys. You guys are fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I've had a lot of fun on this podcast.
It's just fun chilling. Yeah.
Felt very natural. So.
Before we wrap it up, and I don't know if we might have a last question for you too, but before we wrap it up, go ahead and throw out your plugs where everybody can find you on the internet, where everybody can stream the music and all that good stuff.
Oh God. So I think everything on my social should be at CRLO _. It's been so difficult to lock that in as a handle on everything. So we're rocking with the __ until we can get some extra money to just buy those, those accounts. So everything should be at CRLO _. My name is Carlo. I want to thank Brian and Lizzie for having me on Emo Social Podcasts. You can follow me Twitter, Instagram. Let's see, Spotify, Apple Music, the same shit. See, I feel like I'm on stage in the local pop punk.
You got to do it.
Check out my merch. Check out my
see you back at the table in the back there.
Talk to Smoopy.
Yeah. Come to hang out after the show.
I want to meet every single
one of you.
But yeah, YouTube, all of that good shit. You guys can expect to see a lot more this year. I've got couple new singles and music videos on the way to follow up Kiss the Concrete. So we're going to keep it rocking for you guys and keep that traction going. So you'll hear from me very, very soon. I mostly post on my Instagram. So if you guys want to stay active on the social, follow me at Carlo, CRLO. For any new listeners that might have made it through this hour with me, it is Carlo, not Carlos. There's no S. There's no S in my name. For any of you guys wondering as well, that is my middle name. My first name is Danny, but please call me Carlo if you wish. But yeah, follow me, CRLO, on everything. So thank you guys.
course.
Yeah, of course. So when can we expect, date-wise, if you can give it out, these new singles?
Ooh, let's see. There should be a fall banger on the way. Music
Ooh.
video pending. It's going to be a little bit more kind of truer to the pop punk sound. I call it my first single, but Kiss of Concrete was a little bit more on the heavier sound of the things that I am planning on doing. So there's a little bit more of a sweet melodic songwriting and fun surprise on the way. But yeah, you guys could probably look somewhere in November, tail end of November for that guy to drop. Again, music video pending, doing a lot of back and forth at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, expect some singles, some music videos, a lot more promo shoots, maybe a couple collaborations on the way. If
Tyson ever
clock
text
is
you back.
right.
It's
Tyson
Tyson.
being
The
one of
beef
them.
is here. The beef is here, and it's not even mean beef. It is
Not even
nice
mean beef. It's
Yeah.
great. It's great beef.
It's
So
refreshing.
Refreshing
it's a
beef.
nice, yeah, right. It's a nice marbled piece of Wagyu beef waiting for you to,
like a
join us,
fresh,
right?
a fresh
right?
gulp
Brian
of beef.
understands it. See, Brian understands it. Tyson, please hit my line.
Tyson.
I have your
We're gonna
contact.
cut this out and put it on TikTok and like Twitter and tag
Yeah.
Tyson and be like,
Bro, if you guys
hey,
follow me on
hey,
TikTok,
bestie.
I will dead ass close my laptop and make a call out TikTok to Tyson.
Hell yes.
Do it. No, we are on TikTok.
Done.
Because I would love to do a song with Crooked Teeth. I have
I think that'd be sick. I
a
know
bunch
he's
of
been like
songs just
trying to
waiting.
collaborate with a bunch of people. I think you
Mm.
guys would like fucking bang it.
Yeah, I think we'd have a very good time. So if you want to make some forever bangers, bro, hit my line. Let me know what's up.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, I hope so.
Carlo,
Emo
this has
Social
been
Club collab.
Emo Social Club collab. This has been just such an easy conversation. I am so happy, so pleased.
I felt great. Same to you guys.
Yeah. So if you're listening, because we're not streaming this, so I can't tell it to chat, go check out Carlo and everything. We'll have all the links, of course, linked in the description if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to the pod. If you listen to the music and you like it, drop a comment. Let them know. Let us know. Let us know what you thought of the episode. You got to drop it somewhere. Got to let people know. We thrive on your feedback. So, help us thrive.
Help them thrive.
I don't know what that means.
Living,
Be a good person.
living, breathing, 30, flirty, and thriving.
30,
Right,
flirty,
friends?
and thriving. 30,
30.
40. I'm
No,
34.
34.
Yeah, I'm
35.
26. So
There you go.
I'm dying. Carlo, thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me so
Yeah.
much. Check out the music video. Keep your ears peeled, eyes peeled, ears peeled. That's not right.
I'll peel my ears.
Yeah, peel your ears, peel your eyes.
feel it for the dedication, guys.
Yeah.
More singles, more content coming on the way. Some music you can play for your mom. Actually, don't play my music for your mom. Maybe she'll hate it. Who knows? But
Unless you got a cool mom. Get a cool
unless
mom.
you got a
guys.
really
Moms
fucking
only.
cool mom. Yeah. But
Pop
thank you
Mom's
guys for
doing the
having me.
Pete Wentz dance on the wedding floor.
Yes,
Got it.
maybe mom will do dance at my first mother-son dance at my wedding. I really hope so. I'm holding out on that.
I love it.
Cool.
I love it so
Well,
much.
thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you. Check out Kiss of Concrete. It's out now. Music video on YouTube. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Cool.
Yeah, man.